Assalamu-Alikum and welcome back in our international economics class. Our today topic is offer curve and reciprocal demand. An offer curve is alternatively called a reciprocal demand curve of a country. So what is the reciprocal demand? A reciprocal demand curve indicates the country's demand for one commodity in terms of quantities of the other commodity. It It is prepared to give up in exchange. Reciprocal demand determines terms of trade of a country, or it indicates the quantity of import and export that a country is willing to buy and sell on the world market at all possible relative prices. कि एक कंट्री कितना एक्सपोर्ट करती है और कितना इम्पोर्ट करती है, कितना प्रोडक्ट वो इजीली एक्सपोर्ट कर सकती है एक प्रोडक्ट को इम्पोर्ट करने के बदले. More specifically, the curve shows the country's willingness to trade at various possible terms of trade. The offer curve is a combination of the demand for import and the supply of exports. Assuming that two countries want to involve in international trade with two commodities X and Y. So we draw the offer curve in respect of the two countries as follow. Like there are two countries, Sweden and England, and both want to involve in international trade. And the two commodities X and Y, where X commodity is cotton and Y commodity is iron. And both the countries' offer curve are intersect each other at point E. This is point E, or the equilibrium point, or this is the terms of trade TOT line. So इस terms of trade और equilibrium से हमें पता चलता है कि कौन सी कंट्री कितना एक्सपोर्ट करना चाहती है. सो एट इक्विलिब्रियम पॉइंट अगर हम यहाँ से देखें तो इक्विलिब्रियम पॉइंट के कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग जो कंट्री है वो क्या कर रही है, इंग्लैंड है. तो इंग्लैंड जो है वो क्या कर रही है, एक्सपोर्ट कर रही है 9 टन्स ऑफ कॉटन, और उसके बदले में जो वो क्या इंपोर्ट क्या करना चाहती है, 8 टन्स ऑफ iron. So equilibrium is found at the relative price of the two goods where each is willing to purchase what the other wants to sell. इससे हमें ये पता चला कि कंट्रीज आपस में किस तरह से ट्रेड करती हैं. डायग्रामेटिकली इसको देख लेते हैं. On x axis and y axis plane we have export of good x and import of good y. So at point T correspond to the volume of trade associated with Px by Py 1 price ratio. At point T, the country 1 export quantity of 0 to x4. How much they want to export? 0 to x4 of good x, and import 0 to y4 of good y. From origin to 4y. From origin to 4y. The price ratio could also be regarded as terms of trade. At point T1 correspond to the volume of trade associated with two price ratio 8.T1, a country export how much? 0 to X5. They want to export 0 to X5 of good X and want to import from origin to 0, 5 of good Y. So here Px by Py2 is the in the figure above is represented by a steeper price line and therefore a higher relative price rate. Hence, we expect country 2 to respond by increasing the quantity of good X that is exported. Or we can say the excess demand. Similarly, country 2 offer curve can be drawn as follows. So this is the country 1 diagram where one country want to import how much from 0 to 4y and how much they export 0 to xy, x4. But here the country want to more from one country want more and the other country offer less. So this is the disequilibrium between the two countries. So this the second figure is about the excess supply. Let's try to understand both the diagram in one. So on x-axis and y-axis plane, we have y commodity and x commodity. And there is two offer curve of two countries. This is one country offer curve and this is the second country offer curve. And this is the terms of trade line. So this is country A and this is country B offer curve. And this is terms of trade line TOT. So terms of trade line is in disequilibrium because terms of trade line passes from the offer curve of B country 8 point Y2. Let's suppose this is Y2 and it passes from the A country's 8 point Y1. इसी को थोड़ा सा नीचे ड्रा कर लेते हैं तो हमारे पास आ जाएगा 8 this point x1 commodity and this is about x2 commodity. So in this diagram, if there are two commodities in two countries and they want to involve in international trade and they export their commodities and import their commodities. So how they export and import their commodities 8 point E. This is disequilibrium point where country B want to this is country B and country B want to export Y1, Y2 and want to import from country B x1 unit. Similarly, at E1 point where country 1 want to import Y1 commodity and export X2 commodity. So this equilibrium point because country 1 or country A want to export 0 to X2 commodity and country B want to import 0 to X1 commodity. Country B want to import 0 to X1 commodity. It means country A is willing to give them more commodity or this is the excess demand, excess supply. On the other hand, country B want to export 0 to Y2, 0 to Y2 commodity export. On the other hand, country A want to import 0 to Y1. The two countries offer curve in order to establish the trading equilibrium as well as the equilibrium terms of trade of both the countries. So this diagram, as we already discussed in the previous slide, that if the country is in disequilibrium, they will push their trade toward the equilibrium line.